This Climbing the Mountain podcast is brought to you by Encova Insurance. Hard work and passion are critical components of any winning strategy. Count on Encova Insurance as your local team to provide peace of mind. Welcome into Climbing the Mountain, a video podcast all about the WVU 2022 football season. I'm your host, Amanda Mazey. This is brought to you by Encova Insurance and Country Roads Trust. We are West Virginia's name, image, and likeness team, and we appreciate you watching as we get ready for Iowa State this week. And let's go ahead and welcome in my first guest. We have Sean Reagan, tight ends coach. Coach, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's put TCU behind us. Let's look at Iowa State. This is an interesting team. They have not won a Big 12 game yet, but it's not because they haven't tried. I mean, their record is not really indicative of this team. They've lost their last 3 games by 3 points or less. They lost to Baylor by 7. So this is a very dangerous team. You can't look at that zero goose egg under the Big 12 record.
No, you're exactly right. If you look at all their games, I think every one of them's been one-score games, maybe other than one, and that goes back a long time. Like they're really, really sound on defense. They play extremely hard. The players know that system inside and out, which it's going to be a real challenge for us this week.
I mean, they have the number 1 passing defense in the Big 12, the number 2 rushing defense, and the number 1 overall defense. So, I mean, you think of Iowa State, you think of defense. Now, their offense have struggled, but this is no cakewalk. I mean, this is a very solid team, and they lost a lot of offensive weapons from last year, but defensively, they're good.
Oh, they are. Their nucleus is there. Their front 5 or 6, whatever you want to call it, they're as good as we've seen all year, to be honest with you. So, I mean, it's going to be a challenge. I mean, our guys are going to have to be ready to play, and it's going to be a physical football game. And, you know, we're probably not going to get as many possessions as we've gotten in the past. We're probably looking at a 10 or 11 possession game. So we're going to have to take advantage of it when we do get the football.
So Iowa State is last in Big 12 scoring defense, but we are last in Big 12 scoring offense. So I know you probably hate me for that, but when you have a stat like that, who has the advantage?
To be honest with you, it's going to be the team that doesn't turn the ball over. If we go in there and we protect the football and do what we've been doing for most part of the season, we'll be fine, and we should come out with a win. Now, if you go in there and you put the ball on the ground, then bad things are going to happen. So if we protect the football, then I like our chances.
Let's talk about your position, the tight ends. Let's talk about first Mike O'Loughlin. He goes down with what I believe was his 3rd ACL injury. What was that like for you as a coach to see him go down again after he's just battled back after 2 previous injuries and fought so hard to get where he was this season?
Yeah, it really is. It's heartbreaking because you've been around the kid all season, all off season, watching him rehab, be in the position room, studying tape, just trying to get ready, waiting on the green light for fall camp. And then that happens. I mean, it's devastating for him, and it's hard to watch him be that way, you know, But surgery went well. He's in great spirits. He should be starting rehab here pretty soon, and you know he's going to take his time on deciding what he wants to do, and that's his right. Like that's his decision. He's been through a lot, so we'll see what he decides, and we're all praying for him.
Absolutely. So let's talk about a gentleman that had his best performance this season, Traylon Davis. Let's talk about his performance against TCU. What did you like out of what you saw?
Traylon's come a long way. He had a great offseason, great fall camp. And experience has only helped him. He played a little bit early on in the season, and he just got better and better and better. And finally, it just clicked this week. I mean, the kid played physical, had 0 MAs. I don't even think he had a minus in the 20 plays that he played. So very excited what Traylon's doing so far.
And then you also have Brian Palendi. He's a newcomer as well. So you don't have Mike in there, but you have a couple of weapons. And with the emergence of maybe Traylon kind of having that breakout game, I would imagine you're excited about what these 2 could do in the future.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Brian and Traylon both, I love coaching them. It's a great room. We have a blast. You always know what you get at practice. Like, I never have to worry about either one of them showing up and having a bad practice. They're always ready to go, and that's a coach's dream. Is when you head out to practice and you know you're going to get their best for 2 hours. And then you know you're going to get their best on Saturday effort-wise for the length of the game. So all I'm here to do is simplify things and make sure they understand their assignment and try to limit the MAs. And if we do that, then those guys are going to be just fine.
What is the message this week and maybe even the whole rest of the season, just 4 games left, kind of winding down here, but what is the message to the guys?
It's a 1 week season. All right. Our goal is to go 1-0 this week. We go 1-0 this week. We come in, we'll correct the mistakes on Sunday. We go 1-0 next week. But it's all about this week. Nothing else matters. And if we take care of this week, then we'll be in position to take care of next week. And that's kind of the message.
How frustrating is it? Because in most of our losses, we've been in it. I mean, you see the score, but sometimes the score is not always indicative of how the game really went. How frustrating is that as a coach to be this close? I mean, you guys are really close to having a way different record. And I know it doesn't matter now, right? That's hindsight. Right. But when you're that close, I know it's frustrating, but when you look ahead to the future, you're like, okay, if we just tweak, we're there. Yeah, we're a play or two away a game. I mean, there's only been one game that we didn't play, or two games really that we truly lost. Okay, that's Texas and Texas Tech. Like, we didn't play well. All right, but outside of that, we're one or two plays a game from getting wins, and that is frustrating. And, you try to correct the mistakes, and you try to be positive, and hopefully we're going to climb that mountain and get over that hill and get that W. And I think once we can do that and learn to do that on a weekly basis, then we can get the ball rolling. Absolutely. We talked about Mike's injury, but, boy, you guys are kind of beat up right now. How – I would imagine that, obviously that's not what any coach wants, but you now have to watch these younger guys kind of step up and fill those shoes. So in some aspects, is it sort of exciting to see what some of these younger guys can do that are being thrown into this position? Obviously you want your starters in there. I know that, right. but it is what it is. So these guys have to come in. Is it kind of exciting to maybe coach those guys up because they're fresh and they're just trying so hard? They're eager. They're hungry. So, but they are young. So experience is a factor. But yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to see what they can do and to see them grow week in and week out if they got to go multiple weeks at handling that position, whatever position it is. So, as long as they play hard and continue to study, and we'll be fine. Let's talk about Dante Stills for a second. He broke the record for tackles for loss. He now has 48.5 TFLs in his career. He's just been such a staple in this program. How exciting as a coach is it to see a guy like that who's worked really hard, who loves this state, who loves this program, to be in the record books like that forever? It's amazing. It just shows hard work pays off. And if you come in here and you buy into your craft and you buy into what's being taught to you, then in the end it's all going to work out. And he's a true example of that. He's worked his tail off ever since we got here, and it's paying off for him, and we're all happy for him. What have you been most pleased with offensively this season? Obviously, JT Daniels, new quarterback this year, a lot of new offensive weapons. So as a coach, what have you really been excited to see as far as, offensively on that side of the ball as the season has progressed? I just think overall we're more balanced. And when we are more balanced in a game week, then the ceiling is low for us. We can do whatever we want. So I guess the most exciting thing for me is we've been able to run the ball more consistently game in and game out this year compared to the past. And because of that, it's opened up our passing game, having more opportunities for shots downfield. And when you do that, you can score some more points. But you have to be able to run the football in this league, and I think we've gotten better at that this year. Absolutely. C.J. Donaldson has been the breakout star this year, but we know that he's gone for the rest of the season, unfortunately. What kind of a damper does that put on the running game? Well, it's next man up. I don't think it's going to change how many run calls we call. It's next man up. Coach Scott does an amazing job with those guys in that room, and he'll have whoever's up next ready to go, and we'll be excited to go out there and see them perform. What is just the mood right now? It seems like even through the adversity, we have these guys in here week in and week out. It still seems upbeat, positive, and they still have a lot to play for. You guys honestly are still bowl eligible. That's still in contention. Yeah, it's like we talked about a minute ago. Those guys know we're a couple plays away from a different record. So, and they're 18 to 22-year-olds, which are a whole lot more resilient than me and you. Okay, it takes us a little bit longer to get over things, but they come in on Sunday, they're about over it. But no, they've been great. The guys love to come to work, and they love getting better, and they're seeing progress on the field, even on the days that the scoreboard isn't in our favor. They're still getting better, And now we just got to flip the page and try to turn it over to where that progress shows up on the scoreboard where it matters. Absolutely. Well, Coach Reagan, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me. Thanks a lot.
Good luck this week. And thank you for watching this first segment of Climbing the Mountain, brought to you by Encova Insurance and Country Roads Trust. We'll have some players, and my special guest host is coming up next. Stay with us. This Climbing the Mountain podcast is brought to you by Encova Insurance. Hard work and passion are critical components of any winning strategy. Count on Encova Insurance as your local team to provide peace of mind. Welcome back to Climbing the Mountain, a video podcast brought to you by Encova Insurance. Hard work and passion are critical components of any winning strategy. Count on Encova Insurance as your local team to provide peace of mind. All right, coming into the studio with me now is punter Ollie Straw. Ollie, thank you so much for joining me. You are from Australia. This is your first season at WVU. How is everything going?
It's been great. Just getting immersed into the team, getting made to feel comfortable, making some friends, playing football in front of a large crowd. It's an opportunity that not a lot of people get, so it's been really good. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm excited for the rest of the season. Yeah, well, it's been enjoyable watching you, and now we're going to really put you in the hot seat here in the studio. So let's welcome in our guests this week. We have Garrett Greene and Charles Woods. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah.
And Ollie, I'm going to let you take the first question.
No worries. First one I've got is for Garrett. So obviously, being a dual threat quarterback and, being played at wide receiver a few times, I was ever wondering if you had the opportunity of playing a different position or if you ever thought about it, playing at a different position.
Yeah, obviously just wanting to get on the field to help the team win. And then growing up ever since middle school, sophomore year of high school, I was the running back athlete, quote unquote, that played everywhere. So I really didn't start playing quarterback till halfway through my sophomore year. So it's kind of always been something that I've done, and I just want to do anything to help the guys score points.
Yeah, for sure. Next one I've got for C Woods. So obviously, coming out on that pick game and, the injury that you sustained through that game, it was a pretty bad scene, but obviously seeing you come back and battle back has been really good to see. So I was just wondering if I could get your perspective on how it's been rehabbing and getting back on the field this season, because obviously going down so early, it must have been pretty bad.
Thank you, my guy, but it's been good lately. The first few weeks, it was definitely tough. Not being out there to help my team, battling through 2 rehabs and treatments a day. It was definitely tough, but I think since I'm back playing and back helping my team, my mental's in a good spot, and I'm just being positive, trying to be a leader on the team, and just help the team win anyway.
What do you learn from that, Charles, when you go down, especially game one? You've been working so hard for this season. Game one, you go down. Then you have to just be on the sidelines, not really sure when you're coming back. So, what do you learn from that when you just have to take a step back?
The game we play, just be grateful and humble that we play it, because it can be taken away in a second. It was really a humble experience because I never experienced a kind of I don't want to say a season-ending injury, but an injury that can put you out for a major time. So I've never been through that, but it was definitely a humble experience. I'm glad I went through it now.
Yeah, for sure. And you came back for the Texas Tech game. When you come back, are you a little hesitant, or are you full speed? What's that like?
I say at first you're a little hesitant because you don't want nobody to re-injure it or go through the whole process again. But I think after a few plays, you probably could see me out there smiling, just having fun, because I was just glad and blessed just to be back out there.
Garrett, going off what Ollie mentioned about you being we know you run at quarterback, but receiving too. Do you enjoy that aspect? I know you had 2 catches for 13 yards against TCU. I think you have 20 on this season. What's that like for you to be on the other side of the ball?
It's a little different, but I think playing quarterback, you kind of learn where the wide receiver should be on a certain play. So I definitely think that aspect has helped me, but obviously JT's been playing really, really well, so I just want to find any way I can get on the field, whether that's at a wide receiver, running back, or wherever.
You guys have Iowa State this weekend. They have not won a game in the Big 12 yet this year, but this is a very dangerous team. This is a team that their last 3 games, they've only lost by 3 points or less. So this isn't exactly a cakewalk kind of team. How important is it to get on them early, and how important is it really to leave Ames, Iowa with a win this week?
Yeah, obviously that's a tough place to play. I think teams have trouble playing in there, and their defense, they're always ranked in the top whatever every year. So their defensive coordinator is really good. They do a lot of good things up front. They have a really good player number 9 who could be disruptive, but I feel confident in our tackles that we'll be able to move the ball downfield, and then I feel confident in our defense that they'll get us the ball back often.
Yeah, Iowa State's offense has been struggling. Their defense is really, really good. So with a struggling offense, Charles, obviously you're a defender. I'm sure you're going to be ready to pounce and just make their day miserable again.
Yeah, we just really got to come out fast and, just come out and coach and play what we coach to do. Because, we seen across the Big 12 all of this year that, you can't really just look at the record. Every team in the Big 12 is good. So we just really got to come out there and start fast and get ready to play a 60-minute game in a tough environment.
Absolutely. All right, Ollie, take it away. Enough from me.
That sounds good. So obviously both of you guys have been playing college football for a while now. Mm-hmm. So obviously wanted to get some insight into what it was like going through COVID and how your routines and everything were affected by COVID.
For me, it was very weird. Like, it was kind of like an injury. Like, the game was taken away from me for a while. So it was very weird. I had to find, jobs to keep money in my pockets and still find a way to train without being able to go to the facility or use the resources that the team provide. It was very weird.
Yeah, and then for me, I left high school early to enroll early here, and then 2 months into college, 2 practices into spring ball, we get sent home for 4 months or whatever it was. So it was kind of an adjustment, but, I think it was kind of a blessing in disguise for me because, I was able to learn the offense like front to back, like every detail because we met so much on it. So I was able to learn the offense so then whenever I came back for fall camp, it was just second nature to me at that point.
Yeah, that's good. That's both great answers. I mean, obviously, maybe being a freshman, I didn't get to experience it, but I was watching because obviously I was looking to come over here, and so seeing the impact that it had on college football in terms of the crowds, the not being able to come facilities. So it's good to hear from you guys, obviously, being inside of it, what it was like.
What was it like for you sorry to interrupt, but what was that like for you, that whole COVID period? Because you were in Australia at the time.
Yeah. So I'm sure it's well known that Australian rules and laws during COVID were fairly strict. The good part of 2 years were locked up in your house. So I had 2 birthdays in lockdown, had my senior year of high school in isolation. So it was just really a tough time. But obviously getting back through training to come over here and just staying busy, obviously, as these guys say, getting jobs and making sure I stayed busy. So it was tough, but made it through.
I know this is all topic, but I just want to say I love my God accent. Like,
you know what? Okay, let's talk about that for a second. You got good questions. We will get back to this.
Yeah.
Do you get why like Americans just love the accent? Probably the girls too, but like, are you like, what? It's just the way I talk.
I don't know. I've heard about it my whole life, really. So just hearing about people on a daily basis, hearing my voice, and then looking at me like I'm speaking a different language is just funny. But obviously everyone here sounds different to me. I'm sure you guys would love to know how you sound to me. But yeah, it's something I've gotten used to, and you hear the questions all the time, which is funny. But yeah, no, it's just something I've gotten used to now.
That was a good one, Charles. Yeah, I was going to touch on that.
Smooth.
Yeah.
It is smooth. You're right.
Yeah. Well, obviously you guys, both grew up in big football states in Texas and Florida. So I just kind of wanted to see what high school football was like for you guys. I got the chance to play at Jersey for a small period of time, but obviously Texas high school football and Florida high school football both at a different level. So what was that like for you guys growing up?
It was fun to me, especially hearing about other people's high school experience. No disrespect to them, but I didn't know like how great of a state Texas was for football and how much that game is important to us. But it was definitely fun going against big programs that's put on television every week. So it was definitely fun.
Yeah, and then I couldn't have asked for a better high school experience. Really, I went to high school with all the kids I grew up with since I was 6 years old, and obviously playing 7A football in Florida is a big deal because I graduated with like 2,200 kids in the whole school, so it was a big school. And then Friday nights were we always played someone, at least a handful of guys who were playing at the next level or had opportunities to play at the next level. So it helped me out a lot to kind of get a feel for what it would be like in college.
And I think it helped you playing in states like Florida or Texas. It helped you to prepare for the next level, like college and National Football League, because most guys at that level are from states like Texas, Florida, California. So I think they do a great job preparing us for the next level.
Yeah, most definitely. That's what I was thinking as well. Like, obviously, you play guys every week in high school that, obviously, as you said, Garrett, have the opportunity to play at a higher level. So it prepares you in that way. But, yeah, I find that pretty interesting, obviously, coming from somewhere where you don't really have that kind of high school sports culture. I've got another question for you guys. So, obviously, we have some guys on the team that are love cracking jokes, but I was wondering who you guys think would be the funniest guy on the team.
I think we both know the answer.
I mean, I think I know the answer, but...
Why don't you guys wait on the count? I'm gonna count of 3. 1, 2, 3. You all say it together.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, you ready?
Funniest guy on the team.
Yeah.
All right, hold on, wait.
Oh man.
Oh, wait till
That's
Charles
a lot.
is ready. You ready?
You know who it is.
Give me a position.
No, we're not cheating. No.
All right.
I know me and Ollie are gonna say the same.
I think we're going to say the same guy.
Yeah.
All right, should we throw him a bone, a position? No. Okay, we're not.
good.
Okay, see, you kept me in check. Thank you. All right, you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Taurus.
You
Got it.
I'll say Hershey is definitely up there. I'm not going to lie.
That was my
Hershey is,
second answer.
Yeah.
That was my second
Hershey
answer.
is most definitely up there, but Taurus always be he's always cracking jokes.
Taurus was definitely my
Bryce,
second answer.
Bryce would have been my second. Bryce Ford Wheaton.
No,
He'd
we
be my
got
second.
some funny guys on the team.
That's awesome. So, what's it like for you guys to have somebody like Ollie? I know there are some other players from other countries. Like, can you learn things from him? Do you ask him what it's like in a different country, different sport? I mean, obviously, football over there is, much different than it is over here. What's that like for you guys when you have, like an Ollie on a team?
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool just, no disrespect to Australia, but I think it's kind of cool just to realize how big of a blessing it is to live in America because, I think it's the greatest country ever made. So I think just talking with him about stuff that goes on over there or whatever. But then also that's the cool thing about football because, football doesn't care where you're from, like your socioeconomic background, what you look like, whatever. We all love this game. We're all trying to be the best we can at it. So I think that's kind of cool that, he can be from across the pond and from the land down under. And then, football, which really we shouldn't have anything in common, but football unites us and now, we're close friends.
Yeah, I agree with Gary. This game, bringing guys together from all over. But I think it's definitely cool to have guys from different countries on the team. Because you never know what you can learn from them, and it's just interesting to learn about what their lives and how they grew up.
Yeah, definitely. And I understand you are a trained barista.
Yeah, so
You can do latte art. Did you guys know that about him? You should have him make your coffees in the morning.
You too.
Oh, you make coffee?
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
a big coffee person, though.
I love
You might
coffee.
have to now.
Yeah, I might have to try.
So like C Woods was saying back home, during the COVID time, I had a lot of time to myself and went out looking for a job and became a barista back home. Also got into bartending a little bit. Started working at local pubs and stuff. So got into that and had a fair bit of time working. So it was something I enjoyed, but I'm happy to get away from it now.
I bet. So you can wake people up in the morning with the coffee and kind of put them to sleep at night with the alcohol.
Is that the coffee where they kind of like
That's
pour
what
the
the shape-
cream?
it's got
and
the shape.
Yeah.
You pour
they
the milk in.
do like a heart.
Yeah.
When I was in New Zealand, we went there for vacation. They did a fern.
Yep.
All
All that fun stuff.
What's the coolest thing you can make with latte art?
I'd probably say the heart, even though it seems simple, was probably the toughest one to do. But the fern one's pretty cool as well. So
Would you make a heart for like the pretty customers?
I mean,
Put you on the
sometimes.
spot.
Yeah,
I like your honesty.
Yeah, sometimes try and draw my number. Nah. Just every now and again.
Oh, that's cool. Well, we're gonna wrap this up, but I want you to ask the last few questions
No
if you
problem.
don't mind, because you have done a phenomenal job.
No problem. So my last question for you guys would be, obviously a lot of people don't get to understand what goes on with a college athlete, and they sometimes wish they had insight into what we do in our personal times and in our personal lives. So what do you guys enjoy doing when you have time away from football?
I probably think it sounds cliche, but just hanging out with the guys.
Mm-hmm.
We spend so much time with all the 100 guys in the locker room that, being able to spend time outside of here, whether it's, just playing pool in here or wherever, it's cool just to be able to to see these guys and hang out with these guys because, I don't think we have a single bad guy in the locker room. Everybody's great guys. So I think that, that's one of the biggest blessings of having this big pool of guys that that you can just call any one of them up, and a majority of the time, we all have the same schedule, so they're going to be free when you're free, so it makes it kind of easy.
Yep.
Yeah. If I'm not hanging out with the guys, I'll say probably video games.
Yeah.
I'm a big video gamer.
Yeah.
Madden, 2K, Call of
Yeah.
Duty. Yeah.
Running the sticks.
Well, maybe this one can teach you some latte art and you guys can have some more dates. So, but that's for another podcast. Well, Ollie, thank you so much for joining us. You had phenomenal questions. That was amazing. I think maybe this could be a future career for you
I
as well.
appreciate it.
And
Thank you
Charles
very
and
much.
Garrett, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate
sure.
it. Good
Thank
luck
you for
this
having
week
me.
against Iowa State. And thank you for watching Climbing the Mountain. Don't forget, you can find Country Roads Trust on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter. We're all over the place. And if you'd like to learn how to help student athletes like these gentlemen and all WVU student athletes, you can check out our membership levels at join.countryroadstrust.com. For all of us, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. This Climbing the Mountain podcast is brought to you by Encova Insurance. Hard work and passion are critical components of any winning strategy. Count on Encova Insurance as your local team to provide peace of mind.